What is up? Coming to you live from the cat house, or maybe it should be called the tiger house. We are here for Dre's Geek Philosophy podcast. I am flying solo this time around. My lovely, wonderful wife is in the next room with our wonderful son Tiger, and they're just chilling. She's still recovering. That'll be another section of the podcast today. But so it's just me. I didn't summon any of my cohorts today. Just we're having like a chill episode. We're trying to keep things chill here at the Tiger House. But the one thing that's not chill is, for those of you who don't know, today, aside from it being Martin Luther King Day, it is the 3-year anniversary of Dre's Geek Philosophy podcast. It should have been the first of the year, but our good old dearly no longer our executive producer Sam Zia. He didn't want to go live right off the bat way back when in 2017 on the first time around when we went in and we practiced podcasting for a couple of weeks. But it was MLK Day of 2017 where we went live. Myself, Mr. Pete Malini, Mr. Executive Producer Sam Zia, and then we had a guest that day. We had Lamar Harris. We were running a 4-man show, and that was back when we were doing this at the Secret Podcast Studios, aka iHeartRadio. It's not really much of a secret anymore. We're not going back there, and I can't get in trouble retroactively for going there or saying it. Yeah, we were at iHeartRadio for that first year. We were just chilling because if you didn't know, executive producer Sam Zia, he worked. I don't know if he still works there. I know he's doing a whole lot of psychology right now. But yeah, I heard the big secret revealed here on the 3-year anniversary. That was the iHeartRadio studios that were recording the first year or so of the podcast. That we were like, shh, we're somewhere in Los Angeles. That was the big thing that we were doing that. So it was 3 years ago, around this time, 3 years ago, whatever Monday, the third Monday of 2017. That's when we started this crazy journey, and we're still here. We're still going with the show. It's no signs of stopping anytime soon. Even though I am a father now. And then there's a mother in the other room and our son over there. There might be some hiccups here and there as just like our YouTube page, which was slowly being updated today. I went back to work today after being out for 2 weeks for the birth of our son. I went back at it today. So I also had reliable Wi-Fi, so I had my computer on the side downloading the videos and upload them onto our YouTube page. So it's slowly getting updated. Hopefully by the end of the week, we'll be caught up on YouTube, and then there's going to be hopefully some other content I'm going to try to create while I'm at work and not here at the Tiger House. But yeah, it's funny that we started the show with 4 people, and here we are 3 years later. It's just me flying solo today. My lovely wife will rejoin us in a few weeks when she's feeling better. She is coming off, she came off a C-section. If you missed last week's episode where I cried a lot and I told the whole birth story, yeah, go back and watch that and then come back over here. But if you're here with us live, just like my wife is watching live right now and also can hear me from the other room, and an awesome friend, Jenny Matthews from the East Coast, is watching the show live, and I know I never get accurate statistics as to who's actually watching live. It tells me there's 2 people. I hope there's more, but maybe there's less. Who knows with this thing? But yeah, we've got to the point where now it's just me flying solo. And if you had told me a year or 2 ago I'd have to fly solo, I've been terrified. I usually need another person to bounce my thoughts off of. But now I'm just bouncing them off the inside of my head, and that's how I can get through that. I've run 2 or 3 solo shows already so far this year, and there's going to be a few more before we're done with this. It's been a fun run these 3 years, honestly. I mentioned last week. I don't know if I've ever told the story on the podcast, but it's because of this podcast that I found that lovely lady who you see oftentimes sitting on my right, your left. Yeah, that I don't know if I've ever told that. It's because of the show. She found me via the show. We started talking. She was a mutual friend of Pete Malini, the other previous co-host of the show, We met, we talked, and then the chemistry hit, and then a couple years later, boom, married and a kid. What a whirlwind! What a ride I've been on. I think I've said before, I may not ever make a dime on this podcast, but I got a life. I got a wife and a life and a little baby out of it. So you know what? I'm way ahead on this. I'm playing with house money as far as I'm concerned with this whole podcast business. If I squeeze a dime out of this, then cool. I mean, obviously, yeah, Daniel Wong, our patron right there, he's been contributing. All that money is going to go towards our SoundCloud page. All the money that Daniel Wong has donated to our Patreon. Patreon.com/Dre's Geek Philosophy if you want to help out as well. That's all going to go paid for our SoundCloud hosting to keep our podcast on all those wonderful podcast apps, and those pop up. It'll pop up on the podcast app sometime tomorrow morning. If you want to go listen to it right away, it's always on SoundCloud. If you go SoundCloud, search for Dre's Geek Philosophy, it's always there. But yeah, 3 years of getting on here and talking on Mondays to all y'all. I love that our regular viewers here who watch here live, and there's a whole bunch of people apparently all over the place who listen to this after the fact. And you know what? I appreciate every single one of you. Honestly and truly. Yeah, this whole thing started a few years ago to try to pull me out of my depression, and it really has. It's got a little venting box for me to talk about the world of geekdom. It's like I'm rocking my little bounty hunter shirt. It's Boba Fett looking like Buzz Lightyear. I bust out the old Tron hoodie. This is from the original first episode right here. This is the same Tron hoodie from the first episode. Had to bring a little symmetry back to the show. So those of you who are here wondering about my wonderful wife and my little child, let's do a quick little Rosa and Baby update. So, like I said last week, I told the whole story. It was a long labor. It was a torturous labor for my poor, wonderful warrior wife. And then when we came home that Sunday, we brought home the whole family. Everything was cool. And, just the typical, hey, newborn life where it's like, I'm not getting a lot of sleep. My wife's getting precious little sleep. I'm trying to help her get sleep. I'm taking the proverbial bullets where I'm keeping the kid calm. I'm getting to take care of him so she can sleep and rest. And we're just living that normal life. And we take mommy and baby to their first doctor's appointments on Thursday. Take the baby to his appointment. He was good. Pissed all over me. Pissed all over the nurse. Pissed all over his blanket. It was to say, you know what? All I could do was laugh. I just laughed my ass off. And my little boy just was like, "Ha, got you, Dad." He's good and healthy, no problems. Me and Rosa we were paranoid every time he sneezed, every time he made a weird, like, is he allergic to the cats? Is he allergic to something in the house? Is he allergic? And the pediatrician, she's like, nah, baby sneeze. Babies are babies. They're gonna have earwax, they're gonna have all this stuff. Don't worry. The only thing we have to worry about, just like my friend Mac McLean said, if that temperature gets to 100.4, then we have a problem. Other than that, kids are malleable, they're invincible, it's fun. So, but after that, we took Mama Bear to her first appointment because she had the C-section. We had to go see the doctor immediately, and we go check in with the doctor, and they check her out, and her blood pressure was still abnormally high. So they took Mama away, and we had to go take Mama back to the hospital. And so suddenly, after Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days of our little family here, my wife, she got put in the hospital, and it was just me and the kid. Daniel, you were saying last week I had to go back and re-listen to the I had to re-record the podcast onto audio for our podcast listeners, and I saw you had mentioned that, first time alone with your kid was the scariest night of your life. Yeah, I got to have that on day 5 or day 7. It was like, what? I have to take the kid back home, and it's just gonna be me and him? Holy crap! I was terrified. I was a little mortified. But we did it. Obviously, I'm still here. Kid's still here. Kid survived. And it was just that was a challenge. I kept talking about last week. I'm like, oh wow, I'm entering the greatest challenge of my life. It's like, why is my son crying, and how do I stop it? And it's like, oh, it's just me and him. And thank the heavens for her wonderful parents. They pitched in so much by they were at the hospital checking in on my wife since I couldn't leave here because of a tiny adorable little boy. I had to make sure he was okay. I had to take care of him, and we didn't want, because we're breastfeeding, and we didn't want to stop that. So my wife, she was like, her blood pressure was high, but she was like, I'm fine. I mean, the doctor's telling me I'm not fine, but I'm okay over here. They keep checking me, and so she was able to. They got her a little breast pump, so she was pumping out the breast milk, and then either my awesome papa cat-in-law or my mama cat-in-law, they were bringing it over in the morning and in the evening. I was getting, they were bringing me the milk, and I was putting it in the bottle, warming it up, and I was taking care of all the feeding. I'm like, I got to have a whole lot of bonding with my son. It was 3 days of just me and him just broing it up here at home. Trying to help. It was just me and him trying to sleep. Me and him keeping him calm, keeping him warm, taking care of my little dude, just like, just bonding with him. And what kind of dad would I be? So that was Thursday night. So Friday, it's just me and him here all day. We're just, all right, bro. I put a pair of sweatpants on him. I put on a pair of sweatpants. We're sweatpants bros now. And I'm like, well, I'm just here at home. Let me put on something on TV. I don't want to say he and I watched it. I watched all of season 2 of Chappelle Show all day. I'm sure many people were like, you exposed your little boy, he's like barely 8 days old, to Dave Chappelle. I'm like, yes and no. He's little. He can't hear it. I mean, he doesn't know what's happening on the screen. He can't hear all the swearing and all the racism and all the funny jokes. But, just like, I'm trying to stay relaxed. And my boy, he was relaxed. He was like, he was good. Oh, I look well rested? Oh, I fake it really well. No, I am faking. I had an 8-hour shift at work today. I was back at work. I don't know how I look well rested. Everyone at work is like, you look well rested. I'm like, am I a zombie? Like, maybe I am a zombie. My brain doesn't feel well rested, but you know what? Cool. I did spend the last few months trying to actively function on less sleep. I kept weaning myself down from like 7 hours to 6 hours to 5 hours. I was just trying to wean it down. I'm like, all right, I have to get used to this concept of like, I'm not going to get a lot of sleep. I'm functioning on like, not a lot of sleep. This morning, I have to say, like, me, my wife, and the baby, I think we got like 4 consecutive hours of sleep. It's like, and that is just, I think that's why I look well rested. I think, from about like 2 or 3 to about 7, we all 3 of us slept. Like my little guy, the little tiger, he was nice and comfy with mama and daddy, so he was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna sleep. And so the 3 of us actually got, 4 consecutive hours for me is like the equivalent of 8. My wife, she still needs a whole lot of sleep. She requires lots of sleep. So this whole baby endeavor has been a challenge for her sleep patterns, I'm sure. But yeah, no, I spent 3 days. It was just me and the boy, and then Papa-in-law would come in, bring stuff. Mother-in-law come in, bring stuff, and it was just like I said, at first I was kind of scared, but like I kind of got, it was just kind of just a routine. I literally set an alarm on my phone every 3 hours, and I was all right, boom, let's eat, let's feed. Yeah, I like boom. It was like 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 9 p.m., midnight, 3 a.m., 6 a.m. We were just like, me and the little dude, we got in a little groove. It was just like he understood what was going on. I understood what was going on. We were a little team. We're staying strong for mommy. That was the whole goal. We're gonna stay strong. I'm gonna make sure everything's okay. Nothing got done here at the house. I mean, I worked in some laundry here and there when I could like get him to sleep in his little nappy, but it was just like, all right, me and him, we're just gonna chill on the couch all day. And like I can say, but first day, all day, Chappelle Show. I literally worked my way all the way through season 2, and I forget what movie I put on that night. I think I put something on. I don't remember. The next night, it was just like we were just working through all kinds of stuff. It was like, so Saturday it was like Django Unchained, and then Dark Knight Rises, and then Goodfellas. It was just like I was just like, I'm just gonna put on all whatever is just gonna amuse me, and then I think Saturday he just slept on my lap the whole time. He was just like all curled up in a little ball or just sprawled out. He just constantly like repositioned himself on my lap, and I'm like, all right, it's okay, buddy, as long as you're warm. Keep my little co-pilot warm and keeping him comfy. Get him to eat. And it was real funny. Like my mom, like rolled as soon as my mom found out that my wife was in the hospital, she just rolled through. My mom's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, we good." I'm like, at that point it had been like 48 hours. I'm like, "Oh, man, dude, we good." Like I feed him, I burp him, change his diaper, wash, rinse, repeat. Like we're in a groove. My mom's like, "You need food. You're not taking care of him right." I'm like, it's okay, moms. It's okay. It's okay. People should figure. I got this figured out. All right. Like I was telling my boys I play Destiny with. I'm like, you know what? Oddly, gamers are really well suited for parenting. They probably don't know it. But gamers are well suited to parenting because you got to be able to multitask in a game. You're planning out stuff. You got to be able to read and react to situations. It's like the boss fight's going south. You got to be able to figure it out. If the baby starts crying, all right, okay, what's going on? Got to figure it out. Let's see if I can ease him. All right, oh wait, ooh, diaper's full. Let's go change that. All right, oh, you're hungry? Boom. Let me go warm up that milk. It's all about being able to assess, react, and respond. That's just that's what I've discovered. My personal parenting journey so far. It's like that. Ironically, my gaming skills, my ability to handle all kinds of crazy shit in gaming has allowed me to adapt to handling whatever my little boy can throw at me. So far, I don't want to get too cocky and arrogant here, but it's so far so good. And so my wife, she was in the hospital for 3 days. Those 3 days, and it was just like I'm sending photos to her back and forth. Rosa's mom got us a whole bunch of she signed us up for fabric diapers, figuring that out. Adapt, evolve, overcome, figuring that out. Fabric origami. That's been fun. And actually the fabric diapers have been a lot helpful. That stuff can really absorb poo and pee really well. Like we had to get in like a fecal joke that's in tribute to Sam Zia, he is far away in Burbank. He can't be on the show no more. But yeah, but my wife, she was in the hospital. She just wanted to come home. She was like, it felt like it was out of her control. It was like her blood pressure was just like, it just kept like staying too up. They couldn't figure it out. For any of my medical experts out there, she's still recovering for preeclampsia. But it's like, oh, we have no clue what's happening. And my wife is like, I want to go home to my baby and my husband. Like, I want to be there and not be sitting here with a little pump cranking out the milk and sending it off with her parents and hoping that we're okay. But thankfully, no. Me and the dude we were fine. We were fine. Like I said, we stayed strong for Mama Bear. For my wife, we stay strong for her. I want to make sure it's like keep the baby alive. That was like I heard Stone Cold Steve Austin in the back of my head. Just keep the baby alive, boy. I'm like, and that's what I did. And then my father-in-law, he'd stay here and chill with me. Like it was like on Sunday, like he stayed here with me for a while so I can actually go shave and shower. I swear, I looked so haggard. I felt like I removed like 10 years off my face because the horseshoe was rocking strong. The side of the beard, like all the white hairs. I'm sure I was disheveled because I was just sitting around in my PJs all day with my son. Just make sure you're okay. Are you okay, buddy? All right, we're okay. If you're okay, then I'm okay, buddy. And a lot of bonding with I feel like the whole point of me taking the time off was to bond with my boy, and then I got 72 straight hours of bonding with him, just straight up, just me and him. And it was actually not as daunting as it seemed at first. So it was like that Thursday when I'm sitting in the car at the hospital, and I'm like, well, do we have to go get formula now? I'm like, I know we didn't want to do formula, but we figured it out. It's like there's always all these other parents, and it's like I have to keep telling myself, it's like, no, I'm not the only person going through this. There is like literally millions. How we all got here because of parents. So it was just I wasn't letting it get into my head too deep. It was just like, all right, it's me and him, we cool. Everything was fine. And my wife, they gave her the clean bill of health on Sunday. So like my father-in-law stayed here with baby. I ran over, got her, hugged her tight, got my baby mama, brought her home, reunited her with our son, and they got all the quality time they needed. And now we're back, family unit. We were good last night. Well, like I said, we got actually reasonable sleep considering the kid isn't even 2 weeks old. So I feel like we got this so far. I'm sure there'll be curveballs. I'm sure some like knock on wood. I'm like we will be all right. But I'm sure someone's gonna come up and be like, "Hey Dre, bah! What the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap." Too much of a. That was another thing. So watching, I don't know if people I know saw that on my Facebook timeline. My Facebook friends noticed it. I did not realize how much of Chappelle's Show I still quote to this day, like 14 years later, 15 years later. That was like 2004, 2005, when Chappelle's Show was at its zenith, and so much of that I still like quote to this day. I don't know how many times I plead the fifth, and it's not even like the big stuff like I'm Rick James, bitch. I don't do those. I do like these deep cut, like weird things, like all the weird sketches. I'll yell out Riverside, motherfucker. Oh shit, it's Wayne Brady. All the time, just the weirdest little ticks, and I'm like watching all these episodes, especially season 2, and I'm like, yep, I say that all the time. Oh god, I say that all the time. Woof. It was humbling and hilarious at the same time. Like, man, I a lot of this lexicon just kind of just like boop, installed in my head, and I realized me and Jai, it was like we ran our GameStop back in 2005, back to that Rose Me GameStop. We were just doing Chappelle Show bits all day long. One of our employees, I remember Wilson Wong, we had just taken over the store, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna quit, man. I don't know these new guys." And he walks in, and we're just like player haters ball in front of him, and he's like, "Oh wait, you motherfuckers are cool. Okay, I want to work here." And we were just silly, and all that silliness kind of has just stayed with me in my crazy brain, and I'm gonna try to keep a lot of that bad stuff away from my boy. Some of the ridiculous. Oh my lord, just Chappelle is out of control. But Mama Bear is okay, Baby Bear is okay, and Papa Bear, I'm hanging in there. I'm being strong. I'm being strong for my family. That's all I can do. I suck it up. I'm doing it all for them. I went back to work today for them. I'm gonna bust my ass and try to provide a better life for them. It's all about them. If I gotta sell all my Nintendo collectibles that I would never have dreamed of partying with, I'll do it all for them. Like my little bronze Nintendo Mario statue that I got for being a good rep, I will flip that son of a bitch if we need that money for my son. It's gone. That's why that little dude. It's in my wife's arms right now, over in the bedroom. That's the most important thing to me right now. Like it's just that's the craziest thing. It's like you don't know until you have one. I'm sure all my dads here, like Dang Wong, Rolando Morales, Damon Lamb, all my dads on here. You know, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Until you hold that little life in your hands and you look into their tiny eyes, you're like, oh man, I'll sacrifice everything for you, little one. It's just like, damn. And I'm feeling that. And I get it now. I get it. My mom is like, she was telling me, like, you understand, like now you understand how much I love you. I love you. I'm like, oh, I get it now. Mom was like, I remember I looked at my little boy and I'm like, damn, dude, you're not going to know how much I love you until like someday in the future where you have your own kid. Yeah, I see that right there. Dang Wong. You think you know love when you meet your wife. Until you have a kid, you have no idea. That's my heart, like it feels full with my little family here. Like I look at my wife and I look at my son and I'm just like, I feel good. That's why like last week I was breaking down and crying those half happy, half crazy tears last week, and it was just I laid it all out there because that's just how that's how I felt. It was just like I didn't know I could feel this kind of crazy love. And then seeing his, like, every time he gives me a little funny face, I just melt. My wife was texting me photos of him being cute and being sleepy, and I was just like, oh, my heart. I was like sitting there at my desk at work. I'm like, oh, my heart. Oh, my little boy. Look at him. He's being so cute. With his little monster pot, little monster mittens on, being all cute and all asleep. I'm like, oh, my boy. That's my little guy. That's our little boy. Oh. But, all right. I didn't want to dominate the entire show again with baby talk. Although, like I said, last week this could turn into Dre and Rosa's baby philosophy. But let's get down to some nerd stuff. Obviously, there's stuff that's been happening. Obviously, aside from the birth of our child, other things have been happening. So, right here, I made a list of a few things I wanted to cover before we get out of here. First and foremost, the Academy Awards. It's award season right now. All the trophies are being handed out, and I'm personally kind of disturbed that Joker has gotten so much love and hype. I dedicated an entire episode onto my feelings about this Joker film, and I want to briefly talk about this. Artistically, and I guess craftsman-wise, yes, it's a well-made film. That dude who directed The Hangover, he borrowed heavily from Martin Scorsese. I don't know if taking your paper out and tracing over another director's work is worthy of director's nomination, but hey, that's just my opinion. I have been proven wrong in the past. But and then Joaquin Phoenix, he did an excellent job acting. But it's not necessarily the kind of Joker that I enjoy. I mean, a lot of people enjoyed it. Who am I to shout in the face of this wave of people who loved this film? But this is just how I feel, personally. I can see him winning Best Actor, but this movie being the quote unquote Best Picture or Best Director or Best Screenplay, I mean, I don't know. That's again, this is for people in a higher pay grade. But yeah, I'm incredibly shocked. My personal dog in the race, it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I want that movie to win every award they can. Last night, Brad Pitt. Apparently he keeps winning all the supporting actor awards for that one. So hopefully he gets himself his Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his portrayal of Cliff Booth. Who was a great he was great in that movie. I enjoyed the day of that movie. I still got to go out and grab a copy of it. I'm gonna wait till it goes down in price. I'm not paying $25 for it. I have a kid. No more running out and buying Blu-rays the day they come out. It's like I'm gonna wait till next Black Friday. Maybe I'll scoop it up for $5 at that point. But no. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's sentimentally for me. I felt like that was probably one of the best movies of last year. Well, just behind Knives Out. I'm so pissed that Knives Out got shut out of the Academy Awards. I think maybe it got nominated for original screenplay, but beyond that, it was no other love for that movie. That was a well-crafted piece of art. For me, it's oh, Knives Out is so much higher than okay, Joker was crafted well, but it's as a comic book nerd, I'm that's a Joker, but that's not the Joker. That's just a Joker that was made if Martin Scorsese wanted to make the Joker. A la Taxi Driver. That's how I felt about that film. That's enough about Joker. So last week, something else happened that I was very excited about. The Crisis on Infinite Earths, the CW, they had the end of their big crossover, and I got to watch the end of it. That it all came down on Tuesday last week because they had started a month ago, and then they took 3 weeks off. And then they ended it on a Tuesday night, back-to-back episodes. And if you're a comic book nerd, if you've been a big nerd of DC Universe going all the way back to the 80s, like myself, this was really good. I have not been a big proponent of the CW shows. I felt like all those CW shows, they all started really strong. But then once they got to the point where they kind of had to all right, we need to run in place, because we got to drag this out for about 6-7 years so we can get to 100 episodes and get to syndication. So let's not be too interesting. We're just gonna keep recycling plots, and that's what I kind of felt happened with Arrow. I loved the first 2-3 seasons, amazing. Then it got kind of boring. The Flash, I thought that was the best comic book show that had ever been made at that point in time. I loved the Flash, and then it started getting repetitive and started doing really stupid things. And then they started integrating some dumb things from the comic book into the show. And I was like, why? Why are you doing this? Why do you hate me so? And I think I didn't ever get into Legends of Tomorrow. Although I thought conceptually that should have been a cool show, but I think I watched a few episodes, never got really into it. And then Supergirl, I think I watched the first season, and that was fun. It had one of my favorite characters, the Martian Manhunter, and then the Melissa Benoist is a great Supergirl. She really embodies that wholesome, hopeful superhero that Supergirl should be. So, but a lot of these shows, they kind of like, they wore on me, where I'm like, I can't sit here and like obligate myself to watch something that I'm not actively enjoying. It's like I used to hate watch The Walking Dead, but that was only because I didn't like it, and I just wanted to be able to watch it and say, oh, I don't like this show because of A, B, and C, and then you know what? I need to stop hate watching that show. Just like I was like, felt like, oh, I need to stop watching these shows out of this devotion of being a comic book fan. I'm like, oh, I'm a comic book fan. I should be watching these shows. And I was like, no, I'm not enjoying them anymore. Especially, yeah, season 3 of The Flash, where like, I was like, nope, I think I'm done. And I almost disavowed almost every comic book show at that point. I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to stop watching Gotham. That's not fun. No, I'm going to stop watching Arrow. I'm going to stop watching Flash. I'm like, no. But I would always came back for they would do these crossovers, which, unironically, they would have nothing to do with the current plots of the shows. They kind of just drop much like in actual comic books, how it actually happens in comics. They ignore what's happening in the comic and do a fun story crossing over everyone. So, and these events have all been like that, like going back a few years, where they do these like fun crossovers. And this one, like, even though I have no interest in the regular shows, I watched all 5 episodes of this, and it was great. It was literally, there were so many homages to the original, like, comic book from 1988, which I have a giant hardcover freaking Absolute Edition, which I've poured over many times as a youth, and going into my oldness. There's so many homages to that thing. There was so many little things. Like, they referenced every piece of, like, DC Warner Brothers media, where like they referenced the Tim Burton Batman, they referenced freaking like, oh, that's the one that really blew me away. I'm like, what? Like, hey, that's the dude who played that. That's Robert Wall. He played that crappy reporter. You just see like it was like Earth 89. And they reference even the shows that were like kind of like under the radar, like Birds of Prey from years ago, like that was back in like the early 2000s, and then when they were really trying to make comic show work, they referenced that. They referenced all the current stuff. Like, spoiler, I guess maybe it was a week ago, spoiler. They referenced the current movies. They had Ezra Miller as the Flash show up and meet the current Grant Gustin Flash. And they're like, wait, I'm Barry Allen. No, you're not. We're Barry Allen. Okay. Your suit's cool. Your suit looks like it's much more comfortable. Like that little moment, I'm like, I'm not a big fan of the DC cinematic universe, but that was really cool. They integrated that. They had Brandon Routh. He was back as the Kingdom Come. He was back as the the Superman Returns Superman, because he was already on the show as another character, that actor. But he got to put on the Superman suit, and I guess in a lot of nerds' eyes, kind of redeem himself. A lot of people didn't like Superman Returns. I was fine with it. We get to find that Superman was Catholic and he doesn't use protection. But that's the joke I always do about Superman Returns. If you know me, that's just what I do with that movie. And yeah. There's so many cool things. They even I think it was in one of the episodes this last week. The comic book writer who wrote Crisis on Infinite Earths, they worked him into, like, you just see him, he's like, oh, hey, can I get your autograph? And I'm like, hey, wait a minute, that's Marv Wolfman. I remember him when Sean Horbuckle introduced me to him years ago at Wizard World LA. I'm like, hey, look, that's awesome. I'm like, they gotta, like, hey, let's bring in the guy who wrote the original story and just have him do a quick little cameo where he like walks up to Supergirl and Flash, can I get your autograph? It's just like, it was all sorts of little things like that. Like, I'm sure there's YouTube videos where they point out every single reference to another DC property. It was pretty great. They even reference all their current shows on their DC Universe app. At the very end, you get to see like all the other Earths. They referenced Swamp Thing and Doom Patrol and Titans and all that fun stuff. I was like, oh, you know what? That it's nice that the one thing that DC, the advantage that DC has over Marvel, like this guy who's in charge of the TV show, this guy Greg Berlanti, he's utilizing that one advantage that DC has always had over Marvel. That DC literally controls all of their characters. Marvel doesn't have full control over everything. They have to negotiate with Sony for Spider-Man, for for any rights with that. The Hulk is partially under control of Universal. They had to literally buy Fox to get the X-Men and the Fantastic Four back. It was just like Marvel's always kind of like they've worked around all these limitations where DC doesn't have any of these limitations. The only limitations have been kind of the creativity of the people who've been in charge. And now it's like this is the first time where I feel like, oh, they finally took advantage of this power they have where, oh, we can reference everything. And it was great. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. And then according to Pete Molini, the ramifications of the big event are being felt already this week in all those shows. When I get all the shows, Supergirl, Flash, all that, the shows have come back. And there's actually repercussions from this big giant event where many Earths became one, which is exactly why they did this big comic event way back in 1988. Because like the DC continuity is very complicated, where there was just a separate Earth for every superhero. It's like, oh no, that's Superman's Earth, and this is Captain Marvel's Earth, and that's Batman's Earth, and that's someone else, that's the JSA's Earth. It's all different Earths. So it's all happening on different Earths. There's infinite Earths. That way, oh no, they'll never meet. The Flash would never meet the other Flash. They're on two separate Earths. And after that Crisis of Infinite, they just kind of like, all right, this is very confusing for people who want to try to read this. Let's just smash it all together in one Earth and merge everything together and make things easier. And that's kind of what they did, because they were running into that same problem with all these TV shows where it's like, oh, Supergirl lives on this Earth, and Black Lightning lives on that Earth, and the Flash lives on this Earth, and all this stuff. It's like, nope, smash it all together, one Earth Prime. And then hopefully that allows them to have a lot more fun. So that was a really cool thing I saw from last week. Something that I guess I wasn't too disappointed, but apparently video game fans were very disappointed. So Smash Brothers, that's always been, as long as Smash Bros. Has existed, it's always been a big thing to Nintendo fans. And so the latest Smash Brothers that come out last year for the Switch, they announced a new fighter, and so everyone was like eagerly anticipating who's this new fighter, because they've been kind of going into like different directions the last few fighters. Like I was very happy, like, oh, it was like Terry Bogard from the Fatal Fury and King of Fighters series. They had a Hero from the Dragon Quest series. They had Joker from Persona, and I'm trying to remember who the other one was. My brain is failing right now. But so far the 4 characters, because they added 5 characters, and the next or throughout the rest of this year they're gonna add 5 more. So everyone's in anticipation. They're gonna add another character. Who could it be? Could it be Dante from Devil May Cry? Could it be Sora from Kingdom Hearts? Could it be the guy from Doom? And almost as if Nintendo realized, oh man, we've been doing things really right. Let's fuck with people. And then they put in a character from this series, Fire Emblem, which makes this Fire Emblem series has been doing well, but like they always put in more of these. They're all the same guy. They're all very similar. They're incredibly strong people with swords, and they just added another Fire Emblem character to the game. And as an old man now, I get to like sit back and just laugh now. My buddy who still works at Nintendo texts me, he's like, "Oh, did you hear about the character?" I was like, "No, who?" Oh, do you guys hear that in the background? There's a tiger meowing in the distance. Hello, son. What's that, son? You wanna be on the podcast? Yeah? You want to be on the podcast? Oh, okay. I don't know if everyone can hear you on the microphone, but I can hear you. My little boy is letting us know that he's here. Oh. Oh, you thought it was a kitty meowing. Oh, no. That was not a meow. Although they said, hey, we named him Tiger. He's like a cat. And we call it, like, when he cries, it sounds like a little tiger roaring. Yeah. The boy got mama's good looks, and he got my giant hands, my giant feet, and my giant lungs, and my giant stomach. He got all the giantism from his father. he got a big set of lungs. Yeah, that's all the way over there in the bedroom. That's not close. If you guys were able to hear him, he let you know that he's here. Well, yeah. Whew. I think there was some other stuff that I was eventually going to cover, but yeah, I just thought it was funny. My buddy from Nintendo texted me. He's like, "You hear about the character?" I'm like, I'm like, "Oh no, what did they do? A Fire Emblem character?" I'm like, "Really, Nintendo? Classic Nintendo." They're very similar to the WWE, wherein many times they don't listen to their audience. Audience says one thing, it's like, What do they say? I think they want the opposite. Let's do the opposite of what they want. Because that's going to make them happy. It's just, I don't get the business sometimes. I was there for 7 years. Everybody take your drink. Take your drink, everyone. I'm going to take my drink too, since I mentioned that I worked at Nintendo. It's funny how, a lot of these electronics companies will just do the opposite of what people want. But hey, consumerism, right? It is what it is. Oh, so I'm gonna cut the show a little early. Normally we go another 15-20 minutes, but yeah, I'm a new dad, and it sounds like my son needs me. So, as usual, you can always follow me on Twitter. I tweeted just before the show went on today. Yeah, and I tweeted earlier about how the YouTube was going up. So you can follow me at Dre GP Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram as well. Same handle, at Dre GP Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Dre's Geek Philosophy Podcast. If you're listening to us on audio and not watching on Facebook Live, you can find us on Facebook. Facebook.com/DreGP Podcast. If you want to be awesome, like our awesome patron Daniel Wong here, you can go to Patreon.com/Dre's Geek Philosophy. If you want to help contribute some money to help me pay for this endeavor, and maybe leave me a few extra nickels to help pay for that little guy you hear in the background. You want to help a brother out? Patreon.com/Dre's Geek Philosophy. And if you want more direct, then you can go to Etsy.com/shop/Dre's Geek Philosophy. I intended to add more stuff last week, but obviously I had to take care of my son. So, and if you want to buy some things or if you want to request some stuff, hit me up on Etsy or on Instagram, and I can make you something, some cool 8-bit art. Or if you want something drawn, or just anything, you want to commission some art, commission something, commission some ridiculousness for me, and help this papa earn some more money to take care of my little boy. He's just really belting out right now. I better get over there ASAP. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This has been Dre's Geek Philosophy Podcast. We'll be back next week. We'll be back every week, as long as I'm able to. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Dre Cervantes. We will see you guys next week if I don't throw up any videos on YouTube or anything. I'm going to try to. I keep saying I'm going to, but now that I'm a dad, it's getting even harder. You know, what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? Thank you very much. Have a good night.